that's what we had tried to do for so long. And then in about 2004, we had to now start slowing down on the gigs because now Debbie became expectant. And now this is now another phase of our lives. Because now we've finished our cartoons when we first met at Phoenix. We finished our 20s and we're just there at the span of ice, fun times, Nini. We're just going out. Now it's adulting. It's motherhood.
Yeah. It's marriage.
It's now like rock solid it's now you're looking at people who you would spend your life with. So Debbie becomes expectant, and of course now it's a secret between us because now we don't know how to handle this. None of us are mothers at this stage. But we're still trying to keep up with the gigs that are coming, but eventually we had to slow down. And I think there was one gig we had in Nakuru where Debbie couldn't perform because now, and so we had to get an extra, and I think that extra was Shafi's sister at the time. She was the understanding for Debbie because she didn't make it for whatever gig, if I recall. I can't remember how that story happened. But yeah, now things have started to slow down because now psychologically we're entering a different phase of our lives. So that was 2004 or 2005. 2006, Angie becomes expectant.
Ooh.
So now Debbie is now nurturing the baby that she's just had. Angie's dealing with adulting now in its prime, which is now motherhood. Now the gigs, we can't go to studio as often. Not that we don't want to, it's just that now you have priorities. Before, if we said we're going to the studio and we're staying there until 2, it's no biggie. If there's a gig in TZ or Zanzibar, there's even a gig, I think it was Tattuu and Prezo and Necessary Noise was the lineup. We go easy, very easy, Bruce Odhiambo's opening wherever, we go. But now, when children are coming into play, it's no longer selfishly the three of us. You have to think about things as simple as costume. Because now we don't want Pulse to know. We don't want to tell the story of someone's motherhood until they're ready to tell their story. So now even little things like costume, how do we do it? Little things like so-and-so is dealing with mood swings, how do we deal with it? We still have that sisterhood, so we're protecting us. We didn't come together because of Tattuu. We have a friendship that goes way, 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 way back, to the point where our folks know each other. So now we're going through this phase where Debbie's dealing with her newborn, Angie's now expectant, and then of course now when the press found out, they thought, okay, the next one, obviously, it seems to be a trend, they might as well be sisters. But then now we started to slow down, and unfortunately the songs that we did, they were good as far as we're concerned because we never went into the studio giving less than. But nothing was ever bigger than Teso. The track that we had dissed so much. So at some point, I'm feeling like I need to go back to my original dream, which was all the way back to me just wanting to sing. The reason why I even went into Phoenix Players in the first place. I just want to sing. So I tell Angie, at this time Debbie is she's dealing with motherhood and we're still trying to be Tattuu, but she also gets a job at Kiss 100 as a radio presenter. So now apart from now being performing artists, we're starting to get like adulting jobs of 9 to 5. And I tell Angie that, I really just want to break out and do my own thing.
Hold on right there. Let's change the battery.
Okay.
That's a deep one. So I had to stop you right there because you've been sharing too much of a dope story. So okay, now we continue from the point where you look at Rabbit, aka Angie number 2.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to go back to my first love.
Yeah. And it wasn't even out of a point of, I think even from, there was a lot, if I'm going to be completely honest, there was a lot that I was going through, even relationship-wise. I was then was I working at an agency? I had just moved to work for Homeboys. They had a marketing arm, experiential marketing arm called Homework. Debbie's at KISS. She has this young one. I think Angie, by this time, she's given birth. Yeah, but we're still trying to keep the tattoo thing, because people, for us, yeah, we know that we had an impact, but the impact became bigger for us every time we meet people, like mothers with children in the supermarket. And they're like, please sign for me. This is now before selfies. Please sign for me, Nini. Please take a picture with my daughter. Oh, you know, my daughter really looks up to you. Oh, you know, we really love you girls because you're not just about music. You've gone to school, you're educated, you're also working. Oh, you know, Debbie's a mom and she's still doing. So people are looking up to us in ways that we don't begin even to imagine. And we're trying, let me tell you, we're trying our darndest to keep the glue together, to keep this tattoo thing of what everyone around us is saying. This thing that Ogopa is trying to sign. This thing that, you know, we're trying, people are just looking at us, and us guys, they don't know secretly. We're going through our own thing, and we're trying to also figure it out as we go along. So while Debbie and Angie are dealing with motherhood, and they're sort of in relationships, and these relationships seem like they're the ones for the long haul, myself, I'm like, I don't know if I was feeling left out. I don't want to say left out, but you could suddenly feel the shift in the group. The freedom that we had, where we were just, you know, carefree and happy and just making money and only thinking about ourselves, has changed. Part of me is still there for obvious reasons, because I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship that I would consider a lifelong relationship. But for Angie and for Debbie, while they're still trying to figure it out, I have nothing. I felt like the only thing I had was my voice. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to. And when I told Angie that I wanted to do music alone, I think her first thought was probably because I think at that time I was going through a breakup. And so she felt like, oh, okay, yeah, just you go through your to breakup and your to phase of emotions, whatever that is. I don't think she understood what it was for me. For me, it was all I felt at that time that was all I had. So what sort of agreement we came up with is that we'll split. It wasn't at a meeting where we said, okay, now it's over. No, because we're friends, we're sisters. But what we've decided to do is everyone is going to do their own project with us in the background. Which a lot of people say is Tattuu anyway, because I was the lead singer. You know, I've had people talk badly about us, but they didn't understand our relationship. So we all decide, okay, maybe it's a break we need, because anyway, there's career and there's baby and there's relationships to manage. So let's do that. So I go to Ulopa at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how I met Ulopa. I had been doing some voiceovers, jingles before, because Suzanne Kibukosia would call me. Suzanne, by the way, is a family friend of ours. Like when she was studying music in the US, she would stay with our family there. So she saw me when I was a baby. That's how far back she knows me. So by the time Tattuu was coming out, she's like, oh my God, this baby is now a singer. So she would now call me for voiceovers. And I think somewhere in between doing the voiceovers at, what was Ulopa's?
Samawati.
At Samawati. I think that's how I initially met Ulopa. And I'm like, I want to record a song. And, you know, of course, people think, oh, is it a Tattuu song? I'm like, yeah, they'll be in the background, but really this is now me putting my pen to paper. Mind you, I'm not a writer. The writer is Angela. So now this is now me really putting my pen to task. And at that time, I think Kolo also happened to be in the studio. And so together, the three of us put together When You're Far. Well, people call it When You're Far. I don't know why we call our songs one thing and people call it another. Now this is now come back to me. When you're far from me, when you're far,
Yeah.
I wanna keep you closer, come back to me. So I wrote my verse. Ulopa wrote his, but then there was a gap in between the song that wasn't really working. I had written a really bad verse and Ulopa was like, Shinde, man, this isn't really working. This time the lyrical poet Kolo is in the studio. So instead of what I had written, he put at the Usikawie kuwa nami, usikawie kuwa na mimi. And somehow together we just made that song. And it was a song of, I don't know, I don't know if it had any relation to my relationship. I don't know what phase I was going through. Jesus knows. But I wrote that song. It was a very heartfelt song. And then we realized that Yulopa and I sound really good together, like making this ka song. So now I'm tasked with finding resources to do the video. Tattuu is not together anymore. Now I'm a performing artist. Now I have some idea because we've done like 3 or 4 videos. So I'm tasked with not only trying to put a storyline together, but getting the finances. I'm not making a lot of money at homework, but then somehow I think I just managed to borrow money from so-and-so. Somebody here believed in me. I think even Rabbit actually paid for some of that video, bless her heart. Because in her mind, you know, she's still the visionary. She's still the one who can see it as a group. Her in her head, we've not split. Even me, I'm just like, I need to go find myself. Meaning, she's like, Tattuu is solid. Yeah, we're not breaking this for nothing. So somehow I think she also helped me finance that video. And we ended up doing it together. And I think that was a song that people seemed to receive well, because by this time now we're women, where we're not young chicks having fun. These are women who have come together. We've put a somewhat love song, and we've collaborated for the second time with somebody. Okay, like I said, we had done a song with Joakali, didn't see the light of day. Till this time, we've done a song with AY, but that one didn't hit as much in Nairobi as it did in TZ. But now this one with Yulopa really seemed to get a reception.
Wonders to you, all the things we do together. Constantly, I feel you next to me, even when you're gone. Even when you're gone. The days are long and the nights are endless. I want to be with you forever. Nimechoshwa na umbali. When you're far from me, when you're far, I wanna keep you closer. Come back to me. When you're far from me, when you're far, I wanna keep you closer, baby. Come back to me.
And so now the gigs start coming back. Because
but still as Tattuu now.
Still as Tattuu. I mean, in our mind, in my head at least, I know we've split. Yeah, me. I
This is your first single, you.
This is my first single as Tattuu. I have found courage. Thank you very much for courage.
Shinde now.
As Shinde, yeah. And in fact, the video should have read Shinde featuring Tattuu and Yulopa. But because we were never the kind of chicks to like air at you dirty, and we didn't have dirty laundry. I mean, sure, we had fights because, like I said, we're very different personalities, but we were sisters. So there was never a now I'm going to Anika, Debbie did this or Rabbit did that. No. So anything that was between us was always going to remain between us. Even the divide of where Shinde has decided she's going solo, and it wasn't a Beyonce move. It was truth be told, if you ever interview any other group dynamics are hard.
Very.
It's and especially if you're creative, because people always say, oh, think outside of the box. But when you're in a group, you are in a box, because somehow, if I come with my yellow and Debbie comes with her blue, we have to form a green. And we don't want green. Me, I want yellow, and her, she wants blue. But because you're a group and there's like an end goal, there's always some level of compromise in your, not compromise, but you sacrifice something in your creativity. And in many ways, and not that I felt stifled, but I really felt like I could never be Shinde. That girl who was at Phoenix, who was trying to discover herself, somewhere in between she became Tattuu, and Tattuu took over, and Tattuu became this. But I still wanted to discover myself as a musician. I had just gained courage. I didn't have it before. I was singing under a sweater like this. So I'm like, I'm doing this not to break up the group and be Beyonce. I'm doing it because
to find you,
to find me. I don't have a child. I don't have anything holding me back. And if I don't do it now, I don't want to be those old people who regret anything. So that was why When You're Far or whatever, when you come back to me, for me was important, because I needed to show me. It still looks like a Tattuu jam, but at that point it was one of like the most honest songs. One, because I had actually written a few of my own lines, and two, because the concept was mine. By the time Angie and Debbie were coming on board, yeah, of course they helped with the creativity and the wardrobe and everything, but it was my decision making. Like, they could not come and say, no, we're not doing this. You know, in Tattuu there was always like, if two are against one, the two rules. But by the time they're contributing to anything that is mine, it's those ones of, don't you think that maybe you should do this because A, B, C, D. So it's more from a point of consultation and not from a point of, this is what we're doing. And I really needed that, because I guess in many ways I was afraid of losing or going back to the meek, shy, anxious girl who could not make a decision, who could not perform, who could not anything unless I was in the presence of others. So I wanted that girl that James Falkland and I had worked so hard on building in terms of character. And that's when I did When You're Far. And then after that, I did a few other collabos. I did Unbreakable with Red Sun. As a joke, by the way, because artists, when we meet each other in clubs or wherever, like, yeah, Shinde, we're gonna do a collab. We're like, yeah, of course. Hey, whoever, no need, we're gonna do a collab. So, you know, our artists are, you're doing, by the time you've seen all of you, you're all doing collabos at some point. Yeah, of course, none of them see the light of day. So Red and I had always been like, yeah, we're going to do a collabo together. Yeah. But this time when I was working at Homeboys, and he just happened to be in the studio, he's like, Shinde, you're ready to record this Nini of ours. I'm like, yeah, I'm a solo artist now anyway, so let's just go do this jam. So I go in, Red is very, like, by the time he was calling me to do the hook for his song, he already knew what he wanted me to do. So it wasn't like a creative process. He just needed my voice, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with that. So he said, he sang for me, my love is unbreakable, but if you need my love, I'm available. I'm unbreakable, I'm unbreakable. And I record it and I sing with Freddie. This time is recording.
Dilly.
Yeah, Dilly is recording. 1, 2, 3 takes. Like, you're done. Shinde, now we're gonna shoot this video in the Caribbean. Nini, I'm like, hey, Caribbean. Hey, Red Sun, you've not come to play. And in my head, I'm thinking like, hey, this thing can really work. There was no video in the Caribbean. Hey, that dude hyped me. Yeah, he really hyped me. I was like, I left, Yani, I left there feeling like, wow, this is like my career is really taking off, huh? I mean, Red Sun is a big artist. Yeah. He's a big, and by the time he's calling you to do the hook, I'd already done the song that he had done with Karen Lucas.
Kaz.
Yeah, we are back in the day. So in my head, I'm like, this is good mileage for me, especially like now I'm launching into my solo career. This song comes out, again, it's a monster. Me, I'm not even feeling like it's a monster. Me, in my head, I'm still trying to figure out how to be a solo artist. Because the song that I just did, I've done with Yulopa. The next song I've done, I'm still doing it with Red Sun. And Red is still excited about doing this video. He's come up with the concept. Matter we're going to Jamaica to shoot. We never shot a video for this song.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is there a video?
There's a video on YouTube of somebody who recorded it when Brick and Lace came to the country. When he was launching, I don't know which album of his, not the Mori, his first album, not like the big one. He called me now to go and sing that song. And then he also invited Tattuu to come and be one of the curtain raisers. So,
oh, nice.
As Tattuu, we did Come Back to Me with Yulopa, and then of course I had Unbreakable that I did with him. So that was cool.
You keep the streets bouncing, you keep the streets coming, you keep the girls jamming. You don't know this is how we do it, you don't know, check it one time. Keep it locked, DJ 4 or 7.
My love is unbreakable. Boy, if you need my love, I'm available. I'm unbreakable. I'm unbreakable. My love is unbreakable. And if you need my love, I'm available.
Baby girl,
I'm unbreakable.
talk to me, girl. Yeah. Me lucky Phoebe next to you. While if things devote to you. 9 to 5 I'm missing out, me can't wait just to get to you. Take the vibe I'm giving you, one run with it and say it's true. Come again and say that you do. Baby girl, next to me you make me shine. Say you clear, no waste my time. Speaking from me heart and mind. Girl, you stuck up in my mind. Are you truly mine? Give me the sign. I need to know, I need to know. Girl, you truly take me high. Not the marijuana high. This type of the loving is the kind me need up in my life. Girl, you truly bring me light. I got my angel now, and I need you to stay. Yeah, yeah.
Boy, if you need my love, I'm available. I'm unbreakable. I'm unbreakable. My love is unbreakable. And if you need my love, I'm available. I'm unbreakable. I'm unbreakable.
And then there was a song that I did with Giuliani.
Julia.
Yes.
Yeah, ni aje mzee. Kuna manzi ana naka fresh, naka poa, ana ni mada. But kuna ishi moja yani, saa zile mimi naenda kesha na club. Saa zile mimi natoka kwenda church on Sunday ndio naingia bana. Dana jifanyaje?
Take a moment, understand me. It's not that I don't feel the same. Kuna mengi sielewi, isipokuwa wewe na mimi. Every time I'm thinking of you, natamani uwe wangu. There's no one but you, mahabuba. I'm so afraid, don't let me go. I need to know this is real. I'll do anything for love. I gotta cross over. How can I know that this love is true? To cross over for you. Cross over for you.
Kama kuona pita kwako sewe. Mimi kama kuona pita kwako sewe.
Yes. And that song again is one that I really put my heart and soul to it. So by now I'm coming back into my, like I want to do, I'm still a saved Christian. And I want to do not gospel tracks. I want to do music that, is it Philippians 4:8? Like whatever is right, whatever is pure. I just want to sing music about good vibes, you know?
In fact, let's talk about this a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Because is this before you've acted in Village Christmas or the Village musicals, or after?
This is the musical was in 2011. So this is before.
Oh, it's before.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is it to sort of be, you see a lot of Kenyans, when we hear saved, the first thing we hear is, it's very black and white. You're secular if you're singing not Jesus.
Yeah.
in the words.
Yeah.
So how are you able to have that balance of Christianity and you are what the gospel industry would have called a secular musician?
I know.